I fucking knew as soon as Ryan updated his Goodreads that you were gonna clown him. I knew.
Oh my! Did he tell you about the Instagram message I sent him?
Wait, what'd you say?
Hold on. To preface that, I literally hear Ryan's footsteps like a little toddler running down the stairs while I'm reading on the couch, and he comes up to me and just like puts his phone in my face, and he's like, Carlos messaged me. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
and literally I was telling Rose, I was like, I know that Carlos is gonna be like, there's no shot.
There's no shot. I can't believe it. I'm so disappointed.
Very funny.
I can't believe Joelle liked it that much.
Joelle read both books
I saw
legit,
on his
like,
Goodreads.
so fast, yeah. And so naturally, Ryan heard Joelle read them, and he was like, I'm in. I was like, fuck you.
I like his updates and his predictions that he made.
I didn't even see. He hasn't been telling me.
He called Rhiannon rhinoceros.
Oh, is that who he was talking about? I was like, who the fuck is rhinoceros?
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are your 3 book besties, and we are going to be talking about my pick. Today, we all read The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. And yeah, I'm scared. Consider me spooked. I'm so nervous to hear what you guys have to say.
You should be.
You know what? It's fine. Because maybe I'll get some insight too. Because I'm also a little bit confused, and this is my second read, so.
I don't think we're gonna learn anything here.
No, we're not.
Anyways, I'm Lauren.
I'm Carlos.
And I'm Rose.
16-year-old STEM prodigy Casey Mizuhara lives in an eco-city built for people who protected the planet and now need protecting from it. With natural disasters on the rise due to climate change, eco-cities provide clean air, water, and shelter. Their residents, in exchange, must spend at least a third of their time in stasis pods, conducting business virtually whenever possible to reduce their environmental footprint. Now it's been 3 months since Celia's disappearance, and Casey has given up on hope. Logic says that her sister must be dead, but nevertheless, she decides to retrace Celia's last steps. Where they'll lead her, she does not know. Her sister was full of secrets, but Casey has a secret of her own.
I will say, I started it without reading the synopsis, so I had no idea going into it. And then, like 70% of the way through, not knowing still, I went to read the synopsis. And I feel like I learned more from that than I did.
Honestly, I did learn more from the synopsis than I did from reading the book. I can see what you're saying.
Yes.
What was your first take when you first started reading?
So when I first started reading, I will say I was confusion. Because I think it starts with C's point of view, right? And obviously she's a little unreliable because she doesn't have her memories except for her knowing that she has a sister. I was just confused about the world, like how it worked, because they kind of mentioned that they were doing things because of like pollution and, all of that stuff.
I okay, whoa.
Strong words about to
Start
come
off
out.
with the hate. Good. Great.
Oh my god, that was close. Okay. I was also very confused. I mean, C's perspective was obviously easier to follow than Casey's, and C's was definitely more interesting, but I didn't feel attached to either sister at all throughout the whole book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I just didn't care for either of them. Like,
I will say the timelines were very confusing to me. Maybe that's like what it was, is that C had been there for 3 years, and obviously we know in our heads like, "Oh, that's Celia maybe?" And then Casey's point of view is not that long ago, so it's like
3 months, yeah.
Wait, I thought they were happening at the same time.
no.
I thought that was, like, the big reveal at the end, that they weren't happening at the same time.
Oh,
The
I'm really gonna have to
so
explain this book to
yeah,
you.
the reveal at the end, I'm also a little confused about, but it's not that.
Well, I will say I stopped reading the book at 70% because I just could not finish it. It was, like, it was too boring. I couldn't. I literally couldn't. It was putting me in a huge slump. Like, I didn't wanna pick up any other book.
That's
So
fair.
I was like, "Okay, I need to put this down and just move on."
Boundaries.
I definitely felt very, disconnected to Casey's character specifically. I think I don't know, I feel like it was really ballsy to have a character that was so emotionally just cold and kind of cut off from things. Like, she obviously had, like, because they have, like, programming systems essentially, like,
Their
kinda in their
interface.
minds. Yeah, 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 their interface. And she had, like, an extension put in called Silver Tongue that basically, like, helped her communicate with people because she, like, just I don't know, was not good with talking about her emotions and was always just kind of cut off from having a normal personality, I guess you would say. So whenever someone would be talking to her, Silver Tongue would like pop up with suggestions of things to respond to
Oh.
people. And so she would either do it and like sound like a person, or she would be like, no, screw that. I'm just gonna like be weird, I guess. And yeah, so to have a character that wasn't super likable, I think was hard for me as well to get into it cuz I mean, I blew through C's chapters. I really liked her whole journey. She was obviously very like wild and free. She's our girly pop that just like you could tell from Casey's flashbacks was just more like the wild child of the family. So I really liked Celia's chapters, but Casey's were admittedly yeah, very very boring, very dry, and I was just kind of like what an interesting choice for a main character.
Yeah, I will say I did skip some of Casey's chapters because I was like, I cannot read this. Like, I would read the same paragraph 3 times and still not understand what was happening. So I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go to C's chapter."
Was that cuz it was like too sciency or too
I
like
think so. I just feel like the writing was just not understandable for me. Like, it just wouldn't click in my head. Like, I understood more reading Dune than I did reading this book, and
Oof.
which is crazy because I hate Dune. I hated the writing in Dune.
I feel like I don't know, the way that the world was described around, I feel like that's why it was so confusing, at least for me. Like, I did not know what was going on. I had to look at the little map of, like, them living on the little eco thing. I don't exactly remember why. I just know, Earth, it's a little uninhabitable right now, okay, because people have been polluting, like, trashing the Earth, right? So they live in a little eco city. Think like the 100, if anybody's seen that show. Think the 100, but not in space. Like you're just like hovering, right? Like you're still. And I guess the way that you live there is the people at the top, they have like the smallest carbon footprint, and then the people at the bottom, they've like contributed more to pollution and things like that. So you're like ranked based on how much you've contributed to the earth, like going to shit.
But they're still elite enough to where they can live in that eco city. They're just like the bare bones bottom of the food chain type people. Like I don't even think a lot of them really have interfaces, right?
I don't
I can't
know,
remember.
just because I'm not gonna lie. For the first half of the book, every time they talked about interfaces, I was like, are they AI? Is that gonna be the twist? Are they not real people? I was so confusion about that. So
I was just thinking very like Black Mirror, like when they just have this stuff like kind of in their brain or their eye or
that makes
Mm.
whatever, and you
more
can see
sense.
just very, very techie. A lot of the techie stuff, yeah, just flew right over my head. And I don't know if this is necessarily a lack of like world building, probably, because it was very hard to place myself in this world. Like, I feel like it was described not really fleshed out. Like, it felt very, like, kind of bare bones, so it
Mhm.
was really hard to put myself in this eco city because I wasn't really aware of, like, what the character was seeing a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Oh, Carlos, can you explain C's kind of situation, what she's in?
So she's on an island stuck by herself, and she all she can think of is getting back to her sister. So she's trying to build boats and like rafts to cross the sea, to see where it leads her, because she doesn't know what's on the other side of the sea, but she just feels like she needs to go. She just has to go forward. She has to leave the island. So she's building boats. She has like this little house there with her, which I didn't understand why it was like MM's house or whatever the fuck she called it. And then she had like the boat that had a name, which I also didn't understand. Was it like a friend from her past?
Yes, because her 2nd boat, she named I forgot the name.
Lenora
Leona.
or
Leona,
Leona,
Leona, and that we found out was someone in her life previously. So I think the first one was also
Yeah, so she's trying to escape this island. Um and she's just not successful. Every time she goes out into the sea, something happens and she just gets sent back, which also kind of confused me. Like, was the sea working against her, or was that just like what was happening there?
because at this point, another character has not been introduced yet, so this is just her raw dog in this ocean, right? So
Yeah.
she, I think, doesn't make it due to just the ocean's conditions.
Okay.
And so when she keeps returning back to the shore, she's kind of like, "Well, what happened when I was out to sea?" Like I don't think she really remembered much, and she was like, "Did I like fall off my boat? Like how did I get back here?" So you're kind of confused with her. But I think the first time it happened, she was on Hubert.
Hubert. That was
Hubert.
his name.
Yeah, and Hubert must have crashed into something because she came back up on the shore and Hubert was like fucked up.
I don't know, cause I was also confused. I know she has, like, severe amnesia. However, I could not differentiate when it was just her amnesia and it was a real thing happening, a memory, and then, like, her dreams.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, any time that her sister came into a memory, that was obviously just a memory. Like, Casey was never on
On the
island
island.
with
Yeah.
her, and she also couldn't see in
Mhm.
color for a little while. She could only see in black and white.
Which I also didn't I don't think I ever understood that until she actually started seeing in color. I was like, "Wait, why was she seeing in black and white
Well,
the whole time?"
yeah, then they explain it, kind of, like I don't know, we'll get to that part because 'cause I'm a little confused on that part too. We'll see.
She kind of has just been surviving with Yumi. I loved Yumi. Yumi didn't get enough page time. The little robot that she was with gave very like BB-8 vibes in my opinion,
Don't
but
know, it's just like, agree, strongly
Yeah.
disagree.
yeah, I thought she was cute, but anyway. So yeah, C's just vibing on like taro and practically nothing. She's in this house and she's not sure who MM is, but she's thankful that they had all these like supplies, I guess, and like the water is still running because of like some system under the house that's like easy to fix or whatever. But yeah, she's been vibing on this island for 3 years alone, trying to get back to her sister because she keeps just having these visions or dreams or whatever where she's hearing Kay say, "See, find me."
Mhm.
And so she's like, "I must find her."
So, when she, like, goes to sleep and then she wakes up, she always, like, ends up waking up in the ocean or something?
'Cause she sleepwalks.
And then from Casey's point of view, Casey's like, "Well, it's been 3 months and we still can't find her. Her interface was shut off until one day she gets like a little alert on her interface that says interface found and it's her sister's." And so she's like, "What the fuck? Like why is her interface being turned on?" And so she has the ability to like track it because I forget why. She's like some sort of officer but she was, like, demoted to this position because of, like, a fucked up thing that she did that we'll go into, but basically she was, like, this big, like, STEM scientist, and she ended up doing something that, like, knocked her down to just be, like, an officer of
Yeah,
sorts.
I have a question about that because she was making comments about how was science just banned for her?
Yes.
Okay, so science was not banned for everybody? I was so
Yeah, no, because she went too far.
Okay.
When she was a scientist, she had created something that everybody in the community looked at as unethical, and they were like, that's fucked up.
Mhm.
That's also dangerous for you to even, like, have invented this." So they, like, completely stripped away all of her scientific access.
Okay, that
Yeah, yeah,
clears
yeah.
some things up. 'Cause I was confused about that. And it's also important to know that her dad is, like, a higher up.
Because they live on, like, the very top, 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 top floor in, like, a fucking nice ass penthouse, like, yeah, she's got it made. But then once her interface is turned on, Celia's, it leads Casey to Actinium, a guy, he's just a boy that lives, I think he's all the way down.
Oh, I thought we found out that he lives on the second one.
I'm literally learning about this for the first time, by the way. Everything you guys are talking about, I have no idea. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing all of this.
Oh my
Go
god.
on.
Yeah, because Casey goes all the way down to the bottom of their little eco city to this, like, weird tattoo slash, like, body shop. Like, you can just, like, get random stuff to your body done, I don't know. But she goes there because that's where the interface was turned on, and she's led to this boy? Man?
I think he's a boy.
And he basically rebuilt Celia's interface and turned it on. And so Casey's just kind of like, "Who the fuck are you? Why do you have my sister's interface?" Like, blah, blah, blah. Actinium doesn't really say much about, like, his relationship with Celia. Casey just kind of assumes, like, oh, that's just one of Celia's exes, I'm sure, like an ex-lover. So she just assumes that that's Actinium's role in her life. And they're like, well, I guess we're gonna take a little look see at Celia's final memories because it kind of like records everything up
Mhm,
until your interface is shut
Mhm.
off, which for the most part is when you die. Like getting your interface taken out is a very like rare thing to have done. So, number 1, Casey's like, "Why would Celia have this procedure to get it taken out? Like, that's super sus." And they find out that Celia, when because she was a wild girl,
Mhm.
so she would, like, go all the way down into the Eco City, very last floor, and she would, like, um, sneak into, like, the real world. Like, she would, be in the ocean and stuff like that, and she would take off I forget what it's called, but it's like a skin suit that, like, would normally protect
Oh.
their bodies from the
mm,
water, and whenever Casey would go down with her, Casey would keep hers on, but Celia was like, "No, like, I wanna feel wild and
Mhm.
free." So she took hers off, and that actually gave her a type of cancer from the chemicals in the water. So, they find out looking through her memories that Celia was essentially diagnosed with terminal cancer, did not have too much longer to live. I think they said, like, a couple months or something like that. And so Casey was just thinking like, okay, well, it's been 3 months, so could probably assume that she's
Yeah.
deceased, but not sure. Because again, she just kinda disappeared with no body left behind. So, yeah, we find out that that's kind of the reason why Celia wanted her interface taken out was because she had the cancer and she just kinda wanted to live a little recklessly up until the end.
So I do remember reading this, but I don't think I like understood what was happening, you know? Like I remember them going to the water and like the skin suit and all that, taking it off. But like that's it. Like I don't remember her having cancer, getting cancer from it.
Didn't she confront the doctor or something afterwards, Casey? Or I just remember her being like talking about how cancers are curable and how she was upset that, you know, why would they let her do that or not try to save her?
I think you're thinking about maybe when she was taking the interface out, the procedure for that, because I can't remember. I know she did go to the doctor, but I honestly can't remember what that conversation was. I just remember her inner monologue saying, like, yeah, if they had, like, this elitist girl come in for this procedure, like, it's really not within their jurisdiction to ask so many questions. Like, I think she was kind of at this point of, like, this being Casey, of understanding, like, okay, yeah, since she was terminally ill, maybe everyone just kind of was, like, turning a blind eye to all the rules, but I was also a little confused at that, so
I just don't understand why they would make a YA book or write a YA book so confusing.
Yeah, I no comment.
I mean, it honestly makes me feel better, though, that you guys were also really confused, because part of me was like, "Am I dumb?"
That's what I
Because
told Carlos.
I had a moment where I'm like, I should maybe stop reading monster smut, like, my brain is turning to mush. I don't know how much more I can take because I feel stupid, but if you guys are confused too, I feel better.
It was just the writing.
I feel like you said earlier, Lauren, it had, like, the bones of a good story, but
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't executed as well as it could have been. Like, the world building of everything, explaining the science, because I mean, the scientific things I don't think were necessarily confusing, but I think because we didn't understand how the world worked, like how does their science work? How does their technology work? And we really only see from Casey's point of view. Like we don't whenever it comes to technology, like we don't get anyone else's, experience with it. I mean, besides kind of act, but eh.
I think it would have made more sense to have Celia and Casey flipped personality trait wise. Like, if Casey was the one that was stranded on the island and was a little bit more cold and cut off. Like, a deserted island, there's not as much to see and understand. Like, you can kind of just picture a deserted island fairly easily, right? Whereas if you had Celia in the more outgoing and more complicated setting, the story would have flourished a little bit better from her point of view, with her seeing more complicated things, and especially not already being a scientist.
Mhm.
Things probably would have been explained to us a little bit
Yeah.
more, whereas Casey, she's a STEM scientist, so if she's explaining things to us, I would be like, "Aren't you a scientist? Like, why why is this confusing to you?"
Mhm.
So, yeah, I just feel like if they were in di their settings were switched, it would have made the world building a little bit better.
That's a good point. I agree. And also, it would make more sense for Celia to be working so hard to find her sister as well. I feel like it would push the story ahead a little bit more.
'Cause, yeah, even with everything that went down between her and
There
Actinium.
was no kiss. And you know what?
See and Hero,
Oh, seeing Hero.
Yeah, C and Hero ended up
They
banging.
did. But I
which
don't know. I felt no attachment to that.
that's what I'm saying. I felt no attachment to either character. Like I literally could not care less if C would have died. I feel like it would have been better if C died and we focused on Casey and she could have expanded the world more without C's chapters.
At least once you find out the twist.
Actually don't remember how it happens, but I remember that Hero is like where this random boy shows up on the island with C and is like choking her to death, and Yumi comes, I think it's Yumi, right? And like knocks the boy off of C, and then when they both go unconscious and when she wakes up, she like ties him up. And I think when he wakes up, then he's like a completely different person. He's like, "Why am I tied up? Like, who are you? Why am I here?" And she kind of starts feeling sorry for him, and they start getting to like know each other and start trying to escape the island together.
At first, Celia explains to her what's going on, and I think she kinda makes it known to him, like, "Hey, I'm gonna try and leave, but I'm gonna go by myself." Because at
Oh,
that
right, right.
point, like, the boat and everything like that, and her rations, like, with how many taro biscuits and whatever that they could bring onto the little boat, she said it wouldn't have been enough for both of them because she wasn't sure how long she'd be traveling. So she kinda told Hiro, like, "Hey, once I find my sister, I'll come back for you
Mhm.
because that dick
Oh,
bomb."
and that that's when she had built Leona, right? That little
Yes.
raft, but then one day she wakes up and Leona is not there, right?
Leona's not there and something else is destroyed, and, like, she sees some, like, scratches on Hiro's body that could, like, lead her to think that he is, like, sabotaging her escaping the island to find her sister, but then Hiro, when she wakes up, he's like, "Oh, yeah, like, let's get you going," and stuff like that, so she's like, "Okay, so then did he, like, really sabotage me?" Like, because, I mean, surely not. He's pushing me to, like, j go and find my sister.
Yeah.
But then a small part of her also wanted to stay with him because she was catching the feels. She was like, "He's cute." We kissed a little bit, did a little bit more than that
And she started seeing color.
once he
Yeah, when he
arrived.
arrived,
Yeah.
because she was, like, shocked. She was like, what color is your hair? What color is my hair?" Like, all of these things. So
Mhm.
after he arrived, she was like, "Whoa, a whole new world."
"Don't you dare close your eyes."
right.
And Hero, she, like, named him that because Celia had a lot of memories, but Hero had none. So it was almost kinda like they had different abilities. Hero could see in color but didn't have memories. Celia had memories but couldn't see in color until a little after he got there. Um, so he couldn't remember his name, and so she was like, "Well, I'm gonna name you like a pet." He ended up saving her from something.
Yeah, I think she was like falling off a cliff.
'Cause she was trying to get another part of the ship. And then there's also kind of a little Easter egg within that conversation too, because she says like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know how I was able to do it, but when I was building the first ship, I carried, like, the hull of a ship on my back up this cliff. Like, how was I able to do that?"
And that was like the first clue to like what she really is.
Injuries that normally she should have had, she was like, "Huh, I'm actually fine. Isn't that kinda
It's silly goofy.
kooky?" So I think we could probably say the twist now, Rosa Pose.
You want me to say it? Okay, I was confusion, but
Okay, Carlos, say it.
Dang, but I don't know if I
wait,
know it.
can I tell you what these are just what I remember, okay,
What was your view?
and this is whenever she, like, went into the ocean, there was, like, a little thing in the ocean or something, right? And was this in a memory? I don't know, she was, like, talking to Kay somehow, and C finds out that she's not really Celia, and that she's, like, an android thing? I don't know. She's not a human, okay? She's not real. Is real, but
But I remember before this happened, she was in the ocean, like on her way once again to find her sister. Was she on was she on a mattress? Is that what I understood?
Yes.
She was just floating on a mattress?
I don't know.
It's like, what the fuck? Anyway,
Yes, she
okay, so she's
was.
going on a mattress to find her sisters. I don't know how that works, but
You
okay.
could tell she was not the scientist, let's be real.
And then all of a sudden, this boy starts swimming up to her mattress from the ocean, and she's like, "What the fuck? Like, where the fuck did this boy come from?" And he like climbs on and tries to kill her, but then she ends up killing him somehow. And then she starts, I don't know, does she like just go straight down?
She just starts swimming.
Or like down?
Yes, because she renders him unconscious, she thinks at first, but she also is like, "Fuck, did I kill him?" So she starts swimming down to try and get him, I think.
The boy is
Yeah.
hero.
Yes, the boy's hero, and she just keeps swimming down, 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 finds this, like, metal pod thing, like, just this big fixture.
As she's swimming down, she realizes she's like, "Wait, I can breathe down here. Like, I don't need air."
Mhm.
and she just keeps on going, and she's like, "The pressure isn't killing me," and she just keeps on going.
Yeah, she gets down to this little pod thing. Just yeah, it looks very like very spaceship, like all the lights on the walls are starting to light up and she's very drawn to like a certain area and she just sees like these rows and rows and rows of what she thinks are caskets at first, but then she realizes they're stasis pods. And she touches one of them and it like opens up and lo and behold, Casey K comes out. And this is all happening in real time. So this wasn't a dream, this wasn't a memory. And Celia just starts crying and she's like, "Oh my god, I've found you.
Mhm.
You're here." And Kay isn't as like excited to see her and she's kind of like I've been looking for you. Why are you not excited to see me? And Casey's kind of like not even answering her questions. Like she was
Mhm.
such a bitch. She was like, "So, how are the living conditions?" And Celia's like, I mean, not the best, but I survived for 3 years, so good enough." And Kay's like, "Mhm, yep, yep. Uh mental stability isn't where it needs to be, but whatever. I wonder if it just needed like a few more months. Ugh, this really is just so inconvenient." And Celia's like, "Bitch, I'm right here. Like, why are you not excited to see me?"
Mhm.
And Kay drops the bomb on her that she's not actually Celia and she was literally just built to let Kay know when humanity was ready to populate the earth again, and that everybody that she sees in the walls is like a colony waiting to be back into the world.
And she also notices that Casey is older than her
Mhm,
now.
and she's like, "But I'm the older sister, like, why does she look
Right.
older?"
And that is part of Casey's science background is what had happened was their mom died when they were younger and Casey developed this AI technology that basically would have brought their mom back as like an android. She did it for good reasons cuz she saw how hurt Celia was by
Mhm.
it and our girl Casey is just obviously just so emotionless that
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm not even doing this for myself. I'm doing this for Celia. I'm gonna bring mom back." And Celia was like, "Girl, what the fuck? That's fucked up. Don't do that. Don't do that. Unethical. You're stripped of all your stuff." But then when the world was like basically ready to fucking end, they were like,
Please.
let's let's look into that
Mhm.
technology again. And so, yeah, Casey's whole bright idea was I'm going to make an android basically just look exactly like a human. And she's going to wake up every day with a goal of
Find
trying to
K.
find
Mhm.
me. Yeah. But she's only going to be able to find me when conditions are well enough to have us populate the earth again. And Celia, even though fake Celia, whatever, does not have the best reaction to this. Do you guys remember what she does in this moment of who am I? What was I made for?
I I do not. Give us her Barbie moment.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Her Barbie moment was she freaked the fuck out. She's like, I may not be a person, but I'm still my own bot. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna live my fucking life because this is fucked up that you just like created me and basically like gave her false memories to give her that false hope of like finding Kay. So she swims all the way back to the island. She's just like, "This is crazy."
This is
Starts living
crazy.
her silly, goofy life. And I think she has 196 hours or something like that, some crazy number, until something with the pod, like it's keeping Casey fine for like 196 hours. And then after that, everyone's gonna like basically start going stale
Oh,
inside
Mhm.
their stuff, like everything's just gonna shut off. Celia basically is trying to like fight for herself to have a life and everything like that. And Hero comes back into the picture
surprise.
And yeah, surprise, Sade.
Well, when she gets back to the island, he's still tied up, right?
Yes.
He's still tied up from the last time that she had left him tied up.
He still, like, doesn't know what's going on, and it's revealed that he was made by actinium because actinium and Casey, they had very different views of how everything was going to pan out. Casey essentially came to the conclusion of we're going to save the human race and I'm going to use the Celia bot to do it. And actinium's view was fuck it, let them all die. Like the world is going to combust basically and we're just going to go with it. We don't deserve to live all this shit. So Actinium specifically made Hero's bot to like contradict Casey's. That's why anytime Celia would try and leave the island, Hero would switch to his assassin brain and he would just try and kill her to not let her go. And that was just kind of the pattern over and over and over, even though he never remembered it. So then Celia was kind of stuck. This is what reminded me the most of Darkness Inside Us, is Celia was stuck with the idea of, okay, I am but an android, but I have, these real feelings and these real emotions towards Hero as well. Like, do I just live my little silly goofy life with him? Or do I save the human race? Because as soon as her mission is complete, she's gonna like melt, basically. Like there's like a self-destruct thing within her. So it's that philosophical question of,
Me or the world?
and we actually don't get an answer.
Oh, we don't? There's no way. Oh my god. That's crazy.
The book ends with her like thinking about it.
All that just
I
for
need to
nothing.
go. I don't remember this
That
ending.
is crazy.
I thought she was with her sister when the book ends. I'm confusion about everything.
Yes, please let me know.
Let's see. Your
Please.
evil laugh.
I can't. I cannot.
C tells Hero about everything she found out.
Okay.
And
I feel like a
then
goddamn STEM researcher right now. 6 minutes later.
but also don't like wasn't there a part when Casey was going through Celia's memories from her interface and there was no sign of act in her memories, right? Like they weren't even friends.
Yeah, Actinium had not even lied, because he told Casey, like, "You literally just assumed that I was one of Celia's exes, like, I never told you I was one of her friends."
Yeah.
And
Mm,
so Casey felt betrayed by him even though she was, like, kind of starting to get, like, her version of emotions for him. And I think she even says towards the end of the book, like, yeah, like, given more time and in different, like, circumstances, I probably, like, would have fallen in love with him. And I was like, "Girl,
So
please."
wait, what was the point of us finding out that he was actually a part of the other like super well-off family? I don't understand that. What like
Because that's the background that we're given to how he was also able to make a bot.
there was like something like he was supposed to be in like one of the crashes. There was like a crash for something and he was supposed to be in it.
That killed his whole
Yes,
family.
okay, but he actually had made a bot and he didn't die. Okay.
Yeah, because his family was the story underneath Celia and Kay, and they had gone on like a mission or something like that. And Actinium was supposed to be on that aircraft, but as like a little prank, he sent his bot that looked exactly like him.
Mhm.
And the bot is who died in the crash. So he essentially had to like create this whole new identity for himself because him, Actinium and Casey like meet in the abandoned penthouse of his former family. And that's when she's like, oh shit, wait, he would have had to request access into this building unless he had permission already, but then that would mean he was a part of the family. And she was like, oh my God.
We don't ever like get Casey's point of view in the present, right? Like where C is at?
No, the only time that we're ever in the present time with Casey is when Celia finds her in the stasis
Yeah,
pod.
so
Everything else is flashbacks from, like, hundreds of years ago.
I'm just confused. So there is no, I don't know. There's no outcome. What is the end? There's no end.
I remember seeing an interview with Joan He, and she was basically saying, like, the ending is very open-ended and ominous for a reason. I guess she kind of wanted you to make up your own mind of whether Celia was gonna live her best life on the island or save humanity. She kinda wanted you to, like, have your own take on it from what you got from the book. Do I agree with it? Uh, it
No.
does feel like a lotta lead up for not much back.
Yeah, like I don't know. There was this whole anticipation of not solving this mystery, but like putting the puzzle pieces together. And I felt unsatisfied. I've not rated this book yet. I don't even like because I was like, I need to talk to you guys. I don't even know what I read.
Yeah, I haven't rated it either.
You could say that the conclusion is one that you're meant to find.
I would like to put in my resignation right now.
I'm gonna open up the floor to some questions. What questions do you guys have for me? I'm certainly not sure if I can answer them
We
because
are
I
the
too.
blind leading the blind.
I don't think I have any
We're
questions.
all like,
Actually, I do have a question.
sure.
Why did you give this book 4 stars the first time you read it?
So when I first read the book and I gave it 4 stars, I think that was my confusion talking because hold on, because I still have my review for it. I still have my
Okay.
review for it, so I'm actually gonna look and see what my review was for it and if my mind has changed from a
Okay,
reread.
let's hear it.
This book ended up surprising me. At first, I found it very hard to get into. Well, Casey's point of view, at least. Everything on her end was super high tech, some of it admittedly going over my head. Girl, all of
All
it went
right.
over your head. Don't lie. And you quickly realize that her character isn't one made for you to get a deep emotional attachment to. I got the general feel of her clean, cold, and techie environment, but I would have liked to see a touch more in depth description of their home in the sky, as there were times I felt lost in terms of where exactly Kay was or what she was seeing, etc. C's point of view, on the other hand, I adored her. I ate her chapters up. It was so easy to fall in love with her and Yumi and Hiro. Joan He crafted these sisters perfectly. That I disagree with. Now, I disagree with that now. You really want to root for Celia, which I did, while not being very bonded to Casey, but still curious of how her development will affect her and Axe and Goal. The twist was bonkers good. I did like the twist. Would I say it's bonkers good? I feel like it could have been done a little bit
It
better.
was definitely predictable.
Really? I did
I
not
think
predict
so.
that she was a bot.
I don't know. The interface thing, I was like, what do you mean interface? Are you a robot? So the whole time I just thought everybody was a robot.
I said the ending was very philosophical and satisfying. I don't agree with that now at all. Definitely a book that will make you ponder humanity, laugh, feel heartbreak, and probably recycle a thing or five.
That ending, yeah. Recycle a thing or
Yeah.
five.
Eh.
Don't agree with that review anymore. Obviously. Cause if anything, I feel like from my second reread, I'm more confused.
Which is not supposed to happen.
Right, right.
I feel like this is a 2 star for me, I think. Yeah,
Ooh!
yesterday I was like pondering maybe it's a 3 star, you know what? But then the more I sit on it, the more forgettable some of like the characters are to me. And I don't know. I just didn't love it.
I mean, I only got to 70%, but I'm still gonna mark it as read, and I'm still gonna rate it because I mean, I basically read the full book.
Uh-huh.
Kind of. I did skip some chapters, but that's besides the point. I understood the gist of the story.
Right, right, right.
I could have been convinced for a 1.5, but I think I'm gonna leave it at a 1.
Oh god.
I think if the ending would have been, like, satisfying, it would have been a
Mm.
Mhm.
1.5, but I think I'm gonna sit at a 1
Oof.
star.
First 1 star of 2024?
Yes, first 1 star of 2024, and hopefully the only one.
I really don't know what to rate this book cuz I did really love C's chapters. I liked the twist of C's being an AI and everything like that, but Casey's point of view and just like kind of everything that Casey did really brought down the vibe, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
In C's point of view, I was just having like a wild and free girly chat, and then with Casey, she's so like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
hi,
she's
how you
like,
doing?" Just
"I
like
should feel this way, but I don't." Like, very that.
it's tough because I want to recommend this book to people for the sole reason that I need them to explain it to me.
Okay,
You know
relatable,
what I
Yes.
relatable.
mean?
I'm hoping that people who watched our last podcast picked it up to read it with us, so that hopefully they can
Yes,
explain some stuff in the
please, let
comments.
us know.
But if this is your first time hearing about this book, I would say don't read it.
I guess I'm just gonna chalk up my previous 4-star review to just being a girl. I was just a girl back then. I had read this 2 years ago, I think. So,
Yeah.
So what's your updated rating, Lauren?
Yeah, we wanna know.
I think I'll probably give it a 2.5 seems right for me, because I didn't hate this book. Even, like, talking about it now, I didn't hate it. I just I think maybe I'm also just in love with the idea of what the book could have been, because I do love the
Mhm.
concept of this book. Like, it does give me very, like, the 100 vibes mixed in with, like, darkness outside us, so maybe
Like
I'm still.
post-apocalyptic, but I feel like there's so many other books out there that do this type of thing, like post-apocalyptic, so much better. I feel like if you want something like with this concept, you can definitely find it, you know?
And maybe that's just, like, me being a baby sci-fi gal, like, I haven't read a lot
Mhm.
of sci-fi,
That's true.
so seeing this concept, I'm like, "Ooh, I really like it," and it is a newer concept to me, so I still, in my heart, want to rate it higher. I can't say I loved it, which is so crazy, like, who was she 2 years ago when I read this? I was
She
just
was
like,
That's
just a
wild.
girl, she was living her life,
"I
you
can't
know?
see, I'm blind."
That was you.
Literally, oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel so bad that this was my pick.
No!
I'm not even joking. Ryan was sitting next to me, and I had been getting texts from both of you. And Rose, I think you said something about you being confused, and Carlos was like, "Yeah, like I don't know if I can finish it, Lauren." And I literally looked at Ryan, and I was like, "I'm a bad friend."
No! No.
I
Oh
feel
my
so
god.
bad. I feel so bad. Going forward, you guys are gonna be
No, it's
like,
fine.
"You don't get picks, bitch. You don't get them." Revoked.
No, it's good that this happens, you know? It's like a little taste test.
I feel like I do wanna read other sci-fi, though. Like, if anything, this makes me wanna find something good. That sounds so
That's
bad. It
sci-fi.
sounds so bad.
From what I could see, her other books are more fantasy, drawing on, like, Chinese lore and mythology and things like that. So, this was her only sci-fi.
Mm,
So, I mean, a little it shows a little bit, but it's okay, everybody's growing, right?
yeah.
Live, laugh, love, it's okay.
Live, laugh, love.
I feel like come 5 years from now, I'm gonna, like, probably reread this again just because 'cause I'm like,
You are Celia with her amnesia.
I am, and it's like, I want to conquer this book. I wanna understand this book. I feel like it's an anomaly, like, I look at it and I'm like, it's mocking me.
I don't know if it's worth it.
It's like, "Girl, you think you know what I'm about. You don't. You're clueless."
We are clueless.
So you're a 1. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm a 2.5. Rose, what are you?
I'm a 2, right in the middle.
Wow, I think this is the first book on this podcast that we're all gonna say we wouldn't
Recommend.
recommend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no.
crazy.
Yeah.
Me thinking back to when I was recommending this book in our last episode, here I am now, fucking putting on my clown makeup in the mirror.
A red nose. You win some, you lose some.
I'm gonna have to journal about this. I feel so bad.
Nah, it's fine. You have to read bad books once in a while to know what good books are.
Can't believe we're here. Can't believe we got here. I
It's
feel no, it's
okay.
gonna eat me up. This is gonna eat me up for
She's
a
gonna
while.
dream about this
Um,
every night.
Anytime I recommend a book, I'm just gonna be so self-conscious now.
No, my
But to
oh,
be
gosh.
fair, this was not a fresh read. It would be worse and I would be less trustworthy if I had just read this book like a month ago and I was like, "It was great. You guys should read it." And then you guys were like, "What the fuck?" But
True, true, true,
I
true.
I am gonna plead the fact that it's been a while and she thought she knew what happened and she was just a girl. That's just what it is.
just a girl.
What's our next?
It's
Yeah.
my turn.
But
Yeah.
Carlos, you kept changing your mind, so I'm like
Yeah.
anticipating.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Me too.
So I was literally the whole time I was reading this. The whole time I was reading this, I was literally just thinking like, what the fuck am I gonna pick? And I had like 5 books that I was thinking between, and I was like, fuck, like I don't know, like, do I want to start a new series with them? Or like, do I want to make you guys read a 700-page book, fantasy book?
Oh,
I'm not gonna do that because no. So I was between 2 books by the same author. I mentioned The Sword of Kaigen to you guys before, but she has another book that just came out last year called Blood over Bright Haven. That's less page count than Sword of Kaigen, so I'm gonna go with that, and I have it right here.
okay. Oh, physical blood over Bright Haven.
Yes, it is a dark academia.
Cute.
It tackles themes of imperialism, sexism, racism. Um, I've heard nothing but good things about it, so yeah,
Okay, all right. Let's see how big she is. Let's see a side
it's not
angle.
that big.
Okay,
Not too
not bad.
bad. Not too bad.
It's 517 pages.
Oh,
Yeah,
doable.
it has a very hard magic system as well, which I'm liking so far.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, the thing that made me want to read it is someone described it as Babel meets Full Metal Alchemist.
Ooh, that's cool.
Okay, okay. Haven't read Babel, but love Full Metal Alchemist, so
Mm-hmm.
specifically
So,
Brotherhood, but who's to say?
so yeah, that's gonna be my pick, and I was so excited.
Okay, exciting.
If you're listening or watching, please read along with us.
Rose, you're saying it has good reviews?
Oh, yes. It
Yeah, it has
has
really good reviews.
4.48 on Goodreads.
And how many ratings?
Wow.
How many?
3,220 ratings and then only 800 reviews, like people actually typing out reviews. So
Mhm.
that'll be good. She's self-published?
Yes, it's self-published and it's a standalone as well.
Wow, okay. So I was just gonna ask, like, this is obviously a lesser known book then.
Yeah, well, her other book, Sword of Kaigen, really blew up on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
but she still isn't published traditionally. And then she came out with this one last year in the summer, I think. So yeah, not as many people have read it, but the people who have said it's great.
Okay, I'm excited.
It's gonna be so interesting, like, my brain has just been taking such a journey lately. It's like it's been taking such a beating, so hopping into this book, it's gonna be like, "Is this normal? Are things normal here? There's no bee sting dicks? Nope? Okay, cool."
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, oh my
not
gosh.
the bee sting dicks, please.
The bee is actually scary. Like, I'm gonna have nightmares about
Wait,
that.
okay, so is it like a human-sized bee?
A human-sized bee, but he has the same,
Uh,
like, bee fuzz, like, all over his skin, and he is yellow and black. His name is Barracks.
And he has wings
are people gonna
and
know what we're talking about? I feel like people aren't gonna know what we're talking about.
Bad behavior. A a
Behavior.
pollination or a pollinator's love story by GM Fairy.
That's wild.
But anyway,
I'm so excited.
we can wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching, listening, supporting. We love you lots. You can find me on Instagram at Lauren H. Wrights.
You can find me on Instagram at Kingdom of Books.
And you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Flower Reads a Lot.
And you can find our podcast on Instagram as well at controlyourshelf_pod. Read along with us. Carlos's pick this time, and just maybe don't read this one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you can
Sorry
skip
about
it.
that. My bad. I'm going to be thinking about this forever. Bye.